يسر أمري يا مقتدر وجبر كسري وأزل شددي الله الله ضاقت الأرض بما رحبت سواك غياثي لم أجد طهر يا رب بواطننا وظواهرنا من كل ردي الله الله هون سكرات الموت إذا أخرجت الروح من الجسد يا مالك يوم واصرف عني ما يفتني ألهمني أسباب الرشد الله الله يا 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 الله يا
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. This is Tawfika, your host today. I'd like to thank everybody for being here today in the radio station. We have Imam Fufana to answer a question that we have for this Ramadan. And we have also Ismail Torre from Flint, Michigan. And the question that we have today is, how do we reserve our Ramadan from this Ramadan to the next Ramadan? And the reason why we're asking is to increase our Iman with the success until this Ramadan, from the next Ramadan, and that Ramadan.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Sister Tawfika just asked a question about how to think.
Oh, the question is, how do you reserve your Ramadan from this year to the next year?
Okay. All right, that's a beautiful question. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wa sallallahu wa sallam wa baraka ala abdihi Muhammadin sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa man walah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our Ramadan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability to be able to preserve our Ramadan to next Ramadan. May Allah give us the ability to protect our Ramadan, inshallah. So that's a beautiful question about preserving our Ramadan. As we all know, when the Ramadan is accepted from us, we have Laylatul Qadr in the month of Ramadan, which is equal khairan min alf shahr, 1,000 months, which is equal 83 years. So when Ramadan is accepted from us, it's like the whole entire life is accepted from us, from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's something very valuable. So the best way to preserve our Ramadan, inshallah, which is we make dua, Allah make it easy for us. We need to know the value of the acceptance of Ramadan from us first. Because always once you know the value of something, then you will be able to protect it. So the prime example that I can give here is that we have cars. We know the value of our cars. We put alarms in our cars. When we're getting off our car, we have a remote control. We lock our cars in. We have gold and diamond. We save them in a bank. We have houses. We put alarms and everything. We protect all these valuable things in our life because we know the importance and the benefit of all of these things. So when it comes to blessings and reward, most of us do not know the value of it. And these are the provisions of hereafter. So we have to save it so that it can save us in the Yawm al-Akhirah, in the day of judgment. Because when we come in the day of judgment, our blessings and our reward from whatever we did in dunya that's what we need to go to Jannah. Allah is going to bring us, and He's going to put our good actions and our bad action in a scale and weigh it. So these good actions, we got to preserve it so that it can save us in a day of judgment. So each and every one of us need to know the value and the importance of the blessings and the reward. So once we know that, then we will be able to preserve it. So the first thing we wanted to do, we wanted to continue the way we was in the month of Ramadan. So as we all know, we were able to fast, we were able to recite Quran, we were able to stand up the night for Allah, we were able to give charity, we were able to do all the good things. And on the other side, alhamdulillah, we were able to stay away from every bad thing. We were staying away from lying, we were staying away from our desire, we were staying away from backbiting, stealing, and all of that. Even simply looking, we were staying away from that. That's how dedicated we were, and we were able to control our desire. So in order to preserve our Ramadan, we have to continue like that. So the Prophet ﷺ mentioned in one of the authentic hadiths, he said, if your salat does not prevent you from evil actions and bad deeds, then there is no salat for you. So that's the same thing for the Ramadan. After Ramadan, if you see yourself going back to your bad actions, your bad behavior, your bad morals and characters, then know that the Ramadan, you did not learn anything from the Ramadan, because the Ramadan is a school, is a teacher that come and teach us how to control our desire, how to have a taqwa. So we have to learn that from Ramadan and continue with this taqwa so we can be able to preserve our Ramadan. So if you see yourself that you continue after Ramadan the way you was in Ramadan, then alhamdulillah you have a greater chance to preserve your Ramadan to the next Ramadan. But if you see yourself changing, then you might mess up your Ramadan. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for us, and I hope these answer the question, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
That was a beautiful explanation for the answer to the question. Is there anyone that has any questions concerning this question? I have a question. Well, hello?
I told you I'm on the phone.
Hello?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Oh, I don't really have a question. I just wanted to add on to what Imam Ismail was saying. I think that another thing that we forget is that as the month of Ramadan comes to an end, is to try to familiarize ourselves or learn of the things that Allah loves. Because when we learn about these things that Allah loves, it helps us preserve our Ramadan. For example, always constantly repenting, always constantly asking Allah for the things that we want from this life and the next life. It helps us consciously think of the things that we do that we're not supposed to do. So if I'm always sinning, but I'm always conscious that I've sinned and I'm repenting, then it's going to help me reserve some of the things that I pray for this Ramadan. So I think a lot of our biggest something that we don't know how to. We always only ask things when things go bad. Learning how to pray to Allah when I have everything, when I have a good job, when I have a good husband, a good wife, when everything is going good in my life, but yet I'm still asking Allah for the good things. I don't only come to Allah when I'm going through difficulties. That helps us preserve our Ramadan as well. I think that's all I have to say. I don't know if somebody wants to correct me or not.
So, Malika, that was a beautiful addition. Does anyone have anything else that they would like to add? Any more questions? You're free to ask any question that you like at this moment. So if you have any questions dealing with Ramadan or pertaining to the question or any questions that you may have, you're free to ask any questions at this moment.
So, inshallah, before anybody have questions, inshallah, if there's any questions, please stop me so we can save more time, inshallah. I just want to add that a few more things, not only to the questions, but also to speaking on the radio, inshallah, concerning Ramadan and after Ramadan and stuff like that, inshallah. So I know today's question is how we preserve our Ramadan, and give a few things about it, inshallah. I hope that answered the question. So one of the beautiful things that we can do also after Ramadan is to, every time, because Shaitan about to get released, as the Prophet ﷺ mentions, that in the month of Ramadan, Allah will open the gate of paradise, He will close the gate of hellfire, and He will chain the shayateen, the devils. He will chain them up. That means He will remove them, from us. So they won't be able to whisper or anything like that. They won't be able to, because what the shaitan does is whisper to us and order us to do this and try to control us and stuff like that. So Allah will take that ability from him, so we can concentrate ourselves. So now after Ramadan the shaitan get released, and then we are going to summertime and stuff like that, we might be facing too much fitna. We just gotta know that this life is a short amount of time. We are here only to visit. We are here passing by. So we have to think, we have to separate what we want from dunya and what we want from akhirah. And we have to at least be able to balance it 50-50. You want to give it 50-50 to your akhirah, and you want to give it 50 to your dunya. If your faith is more higher and you want to give 60 to your akhirah, alhamdulillah, which is we ask Allah to grant us that. But let's not be all about dunya. Not even simply making dua for ourselves, for our hereafter. And death can be coming any time. And the Prophet ﷺ say, الدنيا ساعة اجعلها طاعة والنفس طماعة هودها القناعة. He said this dunya is a playground, but turn it to a worship ground. And the soul is so greedy. So, manage the soul to be self-sufficient. So whatever Allah give you, just be pleased with that. Don't let the soul be so greedy, like the sister was saying. We can be having anything, nice car, nice home, nice everything, but we're still asking Allah. That's what the soul is for. The soul is so greedy. But, manage the soul, fight the soul, and, make it as a self-sufficient. Whatever Allah provides you from halal, just be pleased with that. And the Prophet ﷺ say, Al-mawtu ya'ti faj'atan, the death is coming surprisingly, wal-qabru sunduqul amal, and the grave is your saving account of your good deed. Your grave is your saving account for your good deed. So what are we doing to put it in our saving account? So we have to think about stuff like that. Just like in this month of Ramadan, every time I thought about that, I go ahead and read the Quran. Everybody that I know that know how to read the Quran like me, in the month of Ramadan, they finish the Quran once or twice at least. Because they want to get the blessing. They know each ayah, each verse, each letters is equal so many blessings. Not for any reason, because we want to please Allah and we're expecting reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we're preparing our hereafter, we're preparing our grave. So the same method, the same thinking that we want to continue in Ramadan, after Ramadan. We want to continue the same thing after Ramadan because we wanted to stay in the Siratul Mustaqim. Ramadan goal, that was that. Ramadan goals was to bring us from whatever we were doing and put us in Siratul Mustaqim, to teach us taqwa, to teach us how to fear Allah. Now that we're able to go on the Siratul Mustaqim in the month of Ramadan, now let's not go back again. Let's stick it to this Siratul Mustaqim. Every time you remember, I'm still in the month of Ramadan. Let me go read my Quran. I'm still in the month of Ramadan. It's time to Taraweeh. Let me go pray at least 4 rakah. If I can do 8 rakah, let me go do 4 rakah. Just keep in your mind that you're still in the month of Ramadan. And then also be involved with fasting after the month of Ramadan. At least every Monday, every Thursday. And also the white moon. 13, 14, 15. Be involved with that. And, keep your morals that you have right now in the month of Ramadan all the way, and, most likely stick it to dua as much you can until the next Ramadan, which is we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant all of us many more years to come, inshallah. Now, the next thing I wanted to talk about is Zakatul Fitr and how do we go to eat. As a lot of people might be listening to me right now. So Zakatul Fitr, it has to be given before we go to eat, before the Imam stand up on the minbar. Some scholars say when the Imam stand up on the minbar, you can still give it, but when we come back from eat, it is no longer Zakatul Fitr. But it's very important. The Prophet ﷺ has recommended you have to, if you are a head of house, you have to give it for all your family, even the baby in the stomach. You have to do for that one too. Okay, so it's the reason why it's purifying our fasting from whatever little sin that we did during fasting, as far as looking, backbiting, and all of the extra stuff that we did mistakenly and etc. So it purifies that and it rises our fasting all the way to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the first thing before Ramadan end, at the end of the before we go to eat, the first thing we want to do, we want to make sure we give our Zakatul Fitri in the proper way for the sake of Allah, so it can rise our fasting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The second thing we want to do is to make sure we fast the 6th day of Shawwal. It's very important. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam say in one of the authentic hadiths that whoever fasts 6 days after Shawwal, فَكَأَنَّمَا صَوْمَ الدَّهْرَ, it's like you fast the whole entire year. So it's like you fast the whole entire year for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you don't want to miss that opportunity for fasting the whole entire year for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's something very important that we have to do after Ramadan. We have to be fasting the 6th day of Shawwal, inshallah. Is there anybody has question while I'm talking?
I have a question.
Okay.
There's a cat. What exactly is it that you're supposed to pay?
Okay. So Zakatul Fitr, as the scholars say, it has to be given with food. Zakatul Fitr has to be given with food. But some scholars in Americas and other Western countries, they say that you can give it with money, but I do not have no evidence for that. What I have evidence for is that the Prophet ﷺ ordered us to do Zakat al-Fitr with food, rice, corn, tamar, and etc. And anything in that department, So
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So because there's no evidence of the money being given, is that something that you should do, or should you follow the evidence?
Well, I'm not saying there is no evidence. I say I don't know the evidence. I've been searching for it. I don't know the evidence. Maybe we can ask Imam Fofana. He can break that down a little bit for us. But as far as me, I don't even give mine for money. I still give mine for food. Because why? I just want to follow the word of the Prophet in the best I can, alayhi salatu wasalam. I know none of us is perfect, but we have to try our best to follow the Prophet, because Allah says, Ati'ullaha wa ati'ur Rasula, obey Allah and obey the Messenger. So the Prophet said to give it with food. You don't have to say because people don't want the food and this and this and that. It's not like the Prophet did not know that. All you do, you just take the way the Prophet said, make it with food. You just do it with food. So I just don't have evidence that we can give it for money, but maybe scholars in America have evidence, because every masajid here do it with money, most likely. No one do food, so maybe there is evidence, but I do not know. So inshallah.
So who do you give the zakat to?
Who do you give the zakat to?
Yes.
The zakat is for the people in need, the poor people in need who won't have something to eat for the Eid. It's preventing every poor person and every person in need to be begging on the day of Eid, or to be sad because they don't have a food. So when we go around our community, we will see people who really don't have nothing to eat. So the Zakat al-Fitr should be going to them before we go to the Eid, so they can have enough food to eat. Okay.
So is that Muslims or non-Muslims or just Muslims?
But Zakat al-Fitr is for Muslim because we're the one that celebrate the Eid.
No, I'm saying who you give it to.
Yeah, you give it to Muslim because non-Muslims don't celebrate Salat. They don't celebrate the Eid. The Zakat al-Fitr is for Muslim. It's not for non-Muslim. Okay?
Shukran.
Give it to me.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Okay, I have a couple of questions here. So the first question is for two imams. Okay, the gentleman asked, what is the purpose of the Zakat al-Fitr?
Okay.
Okay, that
is Imam Fafana there?
Yes, I'm here.
Question?
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and answer, Ismail.
Okay. So what's the question?
Okay.
What's the purpose?
Is the purpose of Zakat al-Fitr, and then the second one is there is another gentleman asking is asking if the Ramadan can be an excuse for a woman to refuse his man.
If Ramadan can be what?
An excuse to refuse his man, sharing the bed with his man.
Okay. Okay. So the purpose we're gonna answer the first question first, inshallah. May Allah guide us to the sawab, inshallah. May Allah guide us all to the straight path, inshallah. So the first question is the purpose of Zakat al-Fitr, I just mentioned that earlier, is to make everyone happy in a day of Eid. Okay? To make everybody happy, because we have poor people, we have rich people, we have middle people and everything. So there is some people, you will know the value of Zakat al-Fitr and the importance of it in the third world countries, in Africa and other countries, you know, because there is a lot of people there who really don't have enough money and enough food to eat. So Islam came to make everybody happy. You know, Islam is the deen of family, is the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So therefore, the reason of that is to make everyone happy in the Eid. That's why it has to be with food. That's why the Messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say to give Zakat al-Fitr with food. So everyone can be happy in the day of Eid. Everybody can have something to eat in the day of Eid. This is the reason of Zakat al-Fitr, number one. And number two, the reason of Zakat al-Fitr, it purifies the fasting. As the Prophet ﷺ also mentioned that in one of the hadiths. It will purify your fasting because we are not perfect. When we're fasting, we might commit a little sin here and there. So when you do Zakat al-Fitr, Allah will use that to purify your fasting. And also the Zakat al-Fitr will elevate your fasting all the way to the highest status to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and clean it for you so that it can reach Allah pure. So these are the reason why, the reason of Zakat al-Fitr. It might be other reason, but due to the time, inshallah, I'm going to move on to the second question. So, you asking if the month of Ramadan is a reason for a husband to deny, for a wife to deny a husband? Is that what you're asking?
Yes, that's the question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That was the question.
Okay.
Because, you know, he said during the Ramadan, okay, excuse was, you know, during the Ramadan, we have to pray a lot, we have to zikr a lot, we have to do all this stuff, and then she has to cook all this stuff. And then for that reason, you know, she's not available to him. So the question was, is a Ramadan can be an excuse for a woman to refuse sharing bed with her man?
Okay. If I understand the question, I hope you're not talking about in the daytime. Because if
Ismail, let me answer this question.
Okay.
No, it's not for the daytime.
Okay, go ahead, Toto.
Okay, alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. You know, Ramadan shouldn't be an excuse for any woman to deny their husband. The worst thing she can do is to deny her husband, either being Ramadan or non-Ramadan. You know, Allah does not need a woman that doesn't please her husband when it comes to Ramadan or not. So it shouldn't be no excuse. It shouldn't even be. Some of the Sahaba before, in time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they will break their fast by going to their wife. This is how much they wanted to do. So for women to use excuse of Allah to deny her husband, Allah does not want that, because Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam already said. He said that the Jannah of the wife is under the feet of the husband. So why are you looking for Jannah other than that? So that's a very simple thing. Inshallah, our wives, they understand that. So that's the answer. It's not an excuse for any wife to deny her husband on the bed. It should be something. They should be purifying the Ramadan by going to bed with their husband as much as they can. Even if you have to deny prayer for that, yes. So, alhamdulillah.
I have a question.
Okay, can I want to add just a little bit to it so it can be clarified, because a lot of people is listening to us. So the evidence that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us in the Quran concerning the month of Ramadan when it comes to intimacy, Allah said, "Uhilla lakum, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Uhilla lakum laylat as-siyami ar-rafasu ila nisaikum." The night times of the month of Ramadan, that's when your spouse are allowed to each other. Okay? The spouse are allowed to each other in the night times of Ramadan. So I just want to add that little ayah. The ayah is longer, but due to the time. So if the husband wanted the wife in the daytime, she should categorically deny him, because there is no authority for a servant to disobey his Lord. So if your husband is telling you break your fast because there's some things concerning ibadah, you should reject that. So if it's other than that, if it's at nighttime, yes, you can do it. But if it's in the daytime, that's not permissible for nobody. So I just wanted to clarify that part. But Imam Fafana already answered it. No woman has no right to deny their husband in the month of Ramadan as long as the night times of the month of Ramadan. Inshallah.
So I have a question.
Okay.
Oh, can you hear me? Okay. So, to me, I feel like these type of conversations are really important. One, because as Muslims, we are afraid to have this discussion. And two, I don't know if it's a question or more of a statement. So, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not married. But I think that the whole point of Ramadan is to refrain from these desires, right? So, to me, when I think about it, this is how I think about it. I'm not saying that what you guys said is wrong, because I do agree with it. This is the proof from Allah. If during the month of Ramadan, I don't want to be involved in these type of things because I want to purify myself, not because it's just 1 month. 1 month to be able to hold my desire for a month. For the sake of Allah, I think that my husband should understand that this is not because I'm denying. This is because I want to get closer to Allah. I want to be able to hold this thing that's within me that you have created me with, and still be able to, you know what I'm saying? I don't think that is that deep where men just really take it to the next level, like, oh, you're denying me. It's not like that. I want to get closer to Allah. I don't want to be able to hold my desires for Allah, so therefore I'm encouraging you to also hold those desires just for a month. That doesn't make me a bad wife. I just want to be a better servant of Allah. Is that wrong to think of it that way?
Yeah, it's wrong.
I want to say something. Alhamdulillah. Yeah, he just said that the best way to get to Allah is being obedient to your husband. So if you want to get closer to Allah, the best way is to be pleasing to your husband. Period. Alhamdulillah.
Okay, alhamdulillah. Yeah, that's the answer. That's the answer of the question.
The thing is, like I said.
Hello? Hello?
I think something wrong on his phone.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying that as the sister was saying, sometimes these things have to be explained better to a lot of people, because most of the people does not understand that when a woman is married, the best thing you can do to get to Jannah is giving yourself to your husband. A lot of people don't understand that. The Prophet ﷺ, one of the incidents, the Sahabi women got together and went to ask the Prophet. They say, the Sahabi men, they go to jihad, they do all the other stuff, and they get rewarded for that. And one jihad is like 100 hajj. And if one hajj is accepted from you, it's like the day you was born. So you can imagine the reward. But when one jihad is accepted from you, it's like you went to 100 hajj. SubhanAllah, that's very huge. So my point that I'm trying to make, the Sahabi woman, they asked the Prophet, what do we get since we don't go to jihad? Can we get something to get at least the value of the reward of jihad? The Prophet ﷺ responded to this, and this is authentic, by the way. The Prophet said, "Ta'atukunna li azwajikunna khairun min al-jihad fi sabilillah." Your obedience to your husband, your humbleness to your husband, and everything's including that, your intimacy with your husband and all of that is better than the jihad fi sabilillah. So if you want to get close to Allah in the month of Ramadan, after all of these, make sure you make your husband happy in bed. That reward is better than even anything you're looking for in the month of Ramadan. So there's a lot of people who don't understand this. Marriage is the key. The Prophet ﷺ said, when a woman get married, the same day she get married, she go to her husband's house, they take the keys of her Jannah and they give it to her. That's the day the key of her Jannah is given to her. She's in Jannah already when she got married. But it's now herself is going to throw the keys away and jump from the wall of Jannah and go out. That's going to be up to her. But the first day you get married, straight you go to Jannah. That's it. This is also authentic as well. So I just wanted to mention these things for every single woman who's listening and for every married woman who's listening, that your first priority as a married woman is your husband. Because Allah says so and the Prophet says so. There's many Quranic verses and there's many hadiths of the Prophet ﷺ who's giving evidence to all of these things I'm saying. I don't want to go through the evidence and stuff because of the time, inshallah. But if we have more time by the end of the radio, I can get to it. So I just wanted to, break that down a little bit for the sister so she can understand. The best thing is, number one is your husband. Because you want to please Allah, please your husband. Then you will please Allah. Inshallah. And may Allah guide us to the sawab, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Alhamdulillah. Yeah, sister, did you get the question? The answer?
I got it. Yes.
Okay. The best thing I can give advice is we make a dua for you to get a good husband.
Ameen.
Inshallah. And one thing I want to add to it, which is important also, and the sisters need to know also that denying your husband in bed, the punishment of that, and the azab of that needs to be break down. How all the angel is cursing the person out, and also how Allah is mad at the persons and everything. So that's also very important to explain to every married woman and to every single woman that's getting ready to get married, inshallah. Yes.
Any other questions? Okay.
Yeah, I have a question. If let's say that you want to divorce your husband, and he don't want to release you, and he's still asking you for sex, you still have to give it to him, knowing that you don't even want to be with him?
Ismail, you got to answer that.
Okay. Alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. So, Islam is the religion of wisdom, it's the religion of guidance. Islam is not a religion of ignorance. So everything is already there. All we have to do is to follow it. So why I'm saying that? Because the way the question is. So for a woman to divorce her husband, there is certain things that Islam places over there that qualify you to divorce your husband. Just like also the husband, there is some stuff over there that qualify you to divorce your wife, you know. So you get up like that because you don't want your wife anymore, you just want to divorce her for no reason. You can do that, but just remember that Allah is in control. Because you can just get up and violate the rules and stuff like that. So if you want to divorce your husband as a woman, just make sure the conditions is fulfilled. For example, his violence. He's completely violent. Like if you don't divorce him, he might kill you because he's physically violent. Okay, he's physical and he's verbal. Sometimes he acts really, really, really bad to the point that you get angry and you have to be hospitalized and etc. You know. So for that reason, Islam gives you permissions to go after your awliya to come and ask your hands in divorce. Okay. And then is many, many, many more reasons. We can get to search those reasons, you know, due to the time. So if the condition is fulfilled for you to divorce him, then you go through the wali. You don't just get up and divorce him. It's not for you to divorce him. It's for the awliya, those who was your wali in the beginning of the marriage. They're the one that have to come and then, you know. And Islam always have something called darura, emergencies. So if it's emergency, it's also a way to fix that as well, you know. So I hope that answered the questions, inshallah. You have to be part of, huh?
I said, no, you really didn't answer the question. I'm asking if a woman want to divorce her husband, but her husband don't want to release her, and then okay. And then she like, I don't want to have sex with you because I want to divorce you. Is the angel still cursing her for that? Okay. Why you want to divorce him? There is a conditions for you to divorce him. If those conditions is fulfilled, like his violence, like he's cheating, like he doesn't feed you, and all the other conditions is there. If that's fulfilled, you can't just get up like that and say, I want to divorce my husband. No. So the conditions, Islam put the conditions there. It's in the fiqh. So when you go there and you see, are you in these conditions to give you permission to go through divorce with your husband and stuff like that, then the questions can be answered. You know? Okay, let me put it like this. Like, let me put it better. Like, say for instance, your husband gave you talaq, and he said, okay, and y'all got 90 days to be with each other, so y'all divorce is valid. Now, in those 90 days, he tried to have sex with you. Do you have to have sex with him, even though you want to divorce him too? So you have to still have sex with him. Do you get what I'm saying now? Okay. Yeah, I understand. So the question is very, I don't know how to use that word. Yeah, subhanAllah, because that 90 days right there, that don't start it like that. There is a process for the 90 days, number one. And the 90 days is because you want to go back to your husband. So during the 90 days, you have to be there, you have to dress for your husband, you have to do everything, you have to seduce him and everything so that you can go back to him. That's the purpose of the 90 days. So if he want to come to you, of course, you quickly give yourself to him because your intention is not for the divorce, because the Prophet said, أَبْغَضُ الْحَلَالِ إِلَى اللَّهِ الطَّلَاقِ. The most disliked halal to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the talaq, is divorce. So your questions is kind of like, we have to place it in the proper way, how the 90 days begin, what's going on, why you want to divorce him, and etc. So that when the question come in proper order, when we know all these, then probably the question can be answered in that letter. But generally, if you want to divorce your husband, be part of the fulfill the conditions that Islam give it to you as far as divorce. You know, if you are a woman, like I mentioned, if you under violence or all of that, etc., you know, then you can ask for divorce. And it's not for the woman to divorce herself because she did not marry herself. The Prophet said, "La ziwaja illa biwaliyin wa shahidai adlin." There is no marriage until you present two wali and two
you present a wali and 2 honest witnesses. So these 3 people, they're the one that will go under your husband and the people. So then they will select the divorce and stuff like that, and they will fix that way. But it's not for the woman to set the 90 days and all of that, inshallah. So I hope that answered the question, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Is that answer your question?
No.
No? Okay. What?
Can you get some insight on that, Imam Pupana?
Well, I think, okay, I believe Ismail, did the, correct answer. But if you're asking your husband, to do the talaq, first of all, the Prophet ﷺ did not like it. The people that do that, he said that's not of good of our people. So if you want to be, bad of the Muslims, then you can go and do that. Because, first of all, marriage is not something that is temporary in Islam. Because marriage involves most of the time children. So therefore, the both parents, they no longer have pleasure, to be separate for the sake of the children. Now, if you wanted to get out because of your own desire, you should think twice. Because all we're doing here in this dunya is to have the children to pray for us in the grave and hereafter. That's the best access we can have through marriage. So now if a woman wants to break that out for just because she wanted to do it because she can, remember one thing like the Imam Ismail said, Allah is in control. Most of the time, these women, they've never been happy again in their life. No matter what men they go and get it. If you just wanted to get out, you have intention to get out for no reason because you don't like it anymore. This is involved also in the marriage. You might not like the men sometimes. The men might not like you sometimes. So you have to involve the mercy in it. That's why Allah said in the Quran, He put a mercy and a love between us. So therefore, if the love is no longer there, use the mercy. But you cannot just get out. You cannot make a marriage as a close. You wear this today, it's dirty, let me change that and put another one. No, marriage is not like that. Marriage is for eternity. So it should be very, very hard for women to get out of marriage because it makes the women look very bad in Islamic society. So that's why you got to choose a man that can be your husband. How you do that? To your family, to the Muslims. That's why spy is ordered in Islam by Prophet ﷺ when it comes to marriage. If the man is not good, we can ask what he do. We can spy after the man to find out if he's a correct man, he's a man of taqwa, because we human being life being involved. So that's why when you get married, sometimes you're not even thinking about divorce or even mentioning it, because this is for eternity. That's the reason, for the sake of the women, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it hard for the women to get out. Because women will get out of marriage anytime if they have a power. So Islam comes to block the power, to make them preserve in Islam. Most of the time when they die being Muslim, they're so happy. So that's one of the things I can tell you. Alhamdulillah. Is any satisfaction? Hello? Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
So, you got it? You got that?
Yeah, I think it's understood, Toto. It's understood. She got it.
Okay. No, if she's not, we can take it to another level. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, I really was tired of going over and over with y'all because I don't think that y'all getting my question because that's not really the answer I was looking for. I'm saying if y'all both agree like we're getting a divorce, y'all in y'all 90-day process, and the man comes to the woman and say, I want to lay with you, and she say no, I want to continue going through the process of our divorce, is the angel cursing her for that?
No. Because that's an arrangement. That's an arrangement. The reason we make it the 90 days, sometimes to look at the woman if she's pregnant, then the man will be forced to be responsible for her maintenance. But without that, if you both agree to go to divorce, alhamdulillah, it's no problem. but the women shouldn't even think about accepting it. The women should find out first what was the thing and solve the problem, because marriage is in the hand of women more than men. So if you both agree and then go, fine, because you cannot play with Allah, either the husband or the wife. For whatever reason, you're just saying, no, that's not, that's not right. And then you both sit down to say, but if it happen, it's halal. Like Imam Ismail say, that's the halal that Allah dislike. So no angel will curse you or nothing. That's what it is.
The thing is, sometimes, as Muslims, we need to increase our knowledge concerning everything that we involve with. Like, if we are married, we need to know more about the value of the marriage and etc. If we want to get involved with Salah, we need to know more about Salah and everything that we involve. But because of we don't do that, it doesn't help us a lot to maintain this valuable thing. The marriage is so valuable for a woman, subhanAllah. If a woman get married and remain in her marriage and do what Allah asks her to do in the marriage till she meet Allah, if a woman know the value of that, she wouldn't even be thinking about divorce, not even one bit. Because her goal is the ultimate goal. She's aiming for Jannatul Firdaus. She's not aiming for this little 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, a year, which is sometimes she might not even reach. But her goal is to aim for Jannatul Firdaus. Yes.
Yeah, what he's saying is true. Look at it between single women and a married woman. If a single woman stand up all night long to pray to get closer to Allah, and the married woman give only 2 rakat, her 2 rakat is more beneficial than all night long prayer of the single woman. So all this benefit, all this benefit is for the marriage. So alhamdulillah. Did we answer your question?
We need to get educated more on that marriage issue as Muslims. It's very, very important. And I ask Allah to guide us all and give us the ability to learn our deen in a proper way, inshallah.
Okay. Did we answer? Oh, not yet.
Yeah, so that answered the question. She understood.
Oh,
okay. Answer the question.
Okay, is there any other question that anybody wants to ask? Okay, Tafiq, go ahead.
So, Imam Ismail, did you have anything you wanted to add? Because you had a list of things that you were talking about.
Yes, I was mentioning about earlier I was mentioning about Zakatul Fitr. So I wanted to mention more about Zakatul Fitr. And there was a brother earlier who asked a question. He said, what is the purpose of Zakatul Fitr? So I just want to let everybody know that Zakatul Fitr is very important. So sometimes we can forget it because we be busy and moving around and stuff like that. So for that reason, you wanted to give it, you wanted to put it all together and prepare it so you don't forget about giving it, because it's very important. It purifies your fasting. So that's something very important that we do. So something that I want to talk about it as well is when we go to eat, the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is to get up the morning of Eid and get in the janaba, take a shower, take a ghusl. Okay, make a ghusl before you go to eat and purify yourself in the best you can, and wear the best of your clothes. Smell yourself good with perfumes for men only, and then repeat the takbir, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, walillahi alhamd. Repeat that on your way to go to the Eid, and whenever you go to the Eid, keep repeating that until you get to the masjid, and when you get there, repeat it with the people that are sitting there, and on your way back, don't come the same way that you went to the Eid. Take a different way to come home. So these are the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So it's important that we know these things, so we can get more reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You see, once we hear about the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and we implement it in our life, it gives us better faith than anything, because always is a good result, because it's the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay, so we wanted to go to the Eid together, repeating the takbirat, and then come back from the Eid repeating the takbirat, but in different way. Okay, so I wanted to add that to it, inshallah. Tata, do you want to add something to it?
No, it's good, unless there's a question. Alhamdulillah, you already gave enough. All right. Anissa, you want to add something on it?
No, Jazak Allahu.
Alhamdulillah. Mama Tafika.
Assalamu alaikum. Does anyone else have any questions or anything to add to the information that was already listed?
Aisha might have.
Aisha, you have anything you want to add?
Assalamu alaikum. This is very beneficial. However, I think that
you tired? You want to go home?
I do appreciate this.
You want to go home? Or you want to go to Arish?
For seeing that you guys went into the question, because sometimes listening to the question is very important to help you answer the question. I think that maybe at the end you attempted to answer a question, however, I'm also not satisfied with the answer that you gave. I think that you guys didn't understand her question. So maybe that's a topic that we can have for another day. Talk about these things specifically, because I'm not satisfied with the answers that you guys gave. However, this is very nice.
Inshallah.
I couldn't hear nothing she said.
Yeah, it's really I really can't hear it either. There's a lot of static in the back.
It's not static. So you hear what she said?
She wanted to continue the question, continue this topic.
Okay.
So you wanted to continue this topic for another day?
Yeah, I said no, like another day maybe we can plan to have this conversation a little bit more, just because I do appreciate her persisting on saying that you guys didn't answer her question, because I am the same way. If I feel like you didn't answer my question, I'm going to keep asking. And I feel like you guys attempted to answer the questions, but you didn't really get to the answer that, she was looking for. Is what I was saying. I think there's another answer out there.
Inshallah. Inshallah. So we'll try to do that, inshallah. So I'll get together with the two of you sisters and try to get a question that will try to get to the meat of the answer that you're looking for, inshallah. So for next Monday, inshallah, we'll work on that. So if everyone has exhausted their questions and anyone doesn't have any input, we would try to close out right now. So one of the imams can make a dua and then we can close out.
Hello?
Yes.
Hello, assalamu alaikum, Imam.
Wa alaikum salam wa barakatuh.
Okay, Imam, question est ko jaka fitri ka di mo jonti ma yere parce que ko mo debe na ka ko ka jaka fitri di yatime ma ko iba so ko yatime debe abate afate me o la ko ka sakatemi o bolo ko ka sakatemi mo me bana fade ko do no ni ka wolu fla so inya be yatime la ipi inya be mo do la c'est vrai ala parent fla bebe mais moins yere le tanye fe ko do wolu fla la ibe se ka jakat fitri di jonma donc question fla le ba kono ko do akakan ka di mo jonni ma yere donc exemple le be donnier donc question.
Okay, Ismail, you heard the question?
And you can answer it, inshallah.
Huh?
I hear it. You can answer it, inshallah.
Okay, Hamza. The question is this: who is there to, receive the zakatul fitr between, an orphan and disabled. Some people, they have their father, mother there, but they're disabled. They're very, very, very suffering, the fukara. They don't have anything. And you got some people, they don't have their family around, they're orphan, but they have a means. So who exactly the zakat got to be given to? The zakat is always being given to the disabled, the people. People have a dignity, but there's someone that really in need, his dignity is no longer there. He's just in need. So the zakat, Prophet ﷺ says, is given to the need. But most of the time, the orphan, they're the one in need because they have no family around. That's the purpose of a community. So if there's a community, before any other people get handled for the orphans, like the system do over here in the United States, the welfare system taking care of other people, but that should be the Muslim doing that kind of job, the community. So if a Muslim fail to do the job, somebody else will do. Then when they do, it blocks some kind of window from Islam to be performed perfectly. So the answer is this truthful person that they should receive these things is the needy person that should receive it. So, Madam Jabi.
Na Imam, okay, ni ke Imam Alai Baraji.
Yeah.
Okay, question flana ko mune la ka be fo ko ka jaga tigiri di avant que selier ke. Ko boni mune kono.
Yes, why is that they got to give zakat to fitr before the salat is done? Because zakat fitr is part of the fasting, it's part of a Ramadan. You see, it's been there fitr, to purify, your fast. Because nobody's perfect, but Allah, out of love, He wanted to us to do these things, inside of Ramadan, the holiday, the salat. Because before the salat started, and we do it. So we're so happy to eat after the salat. So, but before we eat, we make sure we got something to do, which is a fatara, which is to purify our fast. So it's given to us for the benefit of our love, not to miss anything in the fasting. Those who are sincere in the fast, and there they have some incident that people don't know, the zakat fitr will cover it up. That's one of the purpose of zakat fitr. And it has to be like Imam Ismail said, it has to be in the way Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said. One of the reasons we're not doing the way Prophet said Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, because we don't have community. So we don't know actually each other. We don't know who is in need, because every community has a poor people. So we don't have community. So therefore, we don't know who's poor, who's not poor. We cover up with our own desire. But I say, giving money. And may Allah forgive us. Amen. So, Madam Javi.
Okay, Alhamdulillah. Okay, question bana. Donc, Jalai Baraji.
Okay. Anybody also got any questions? Hello, Sister Aisha, Sister Fanta, Sister Anissa, Sister Wasila, Tofika. Is anybody got any question?
Assalamu alaikum. No, I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Okay. Alhamdulillah. Imam Ismail. Yes.
Yeah, I just want to remind everyone that today, as the scholar said, today is the last day of the month of Ramadan. Mm-hmm. So today also is Monday. The Prophet ﷺ, even outside of Ramadan, used to fast Monday. So we just want to do our best today, because we're giving goodbye to Ramadan today. So we want to do our best before iftar, all the dua that we want to make, all the zikr that we want to make as far as reading Quran and whatever we can. So, to appreciate Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and all the ni'mah that He blesses us with, inshallah. So I just wanted to put that little reminder out there. As mentioned in the past, we might not be here next Ramadan. So this is our last opportunity. Everybody has to be thinking like, this is my last opportunity. It's my last day today. So inshallah, let's try our best of reciting Quran and doing all or whatever we can as, inshallah. Okay?
Right. So, alhamdulillah. If there's no more question, Imam Ismail, just make a dua.
Okay, no more question, right? So, inshallah, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept our fasting. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless us. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما صليت على ابراهيم وعلى ال ابراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما باركت على ابراهيم وعلى ال ابراهيم في العالمين انك حميد مجيد. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا. اللهم إنك عفو كريم تحب العفو فاعف عنا. اللهم إنك عفو كريم تحب العفو فاعف عنا. اللهم آتك رقابنا من النار. اللهم آتك رقابنا من النار وجعلنا من الفائزين يا أرحم الراحمين بجاه سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب عليك.
Okay. إن
شاء الله.
Okay. السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام.
يا رب العزة خذ بيدي يا حي ويا قيوم ومن ينجي المهموم من السدد. خذني بالعفو وعافية وجميل الستر إلى الأبد. يسر أمري يا مقتدر واجبر كسري وأزل شددي.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء محمد بن عبد الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
I would like to thank everyone for attending the radio station today. I'd like to also thank the Imam Ismail Noah Fofana for their excellent answering of the questions today. And I would like everyone to know that tomorrow we'll be on again. I mean, not tomorrow, but Monday. We'll be here again Monday at the same time. So I would like to bless everybody with a successful Ramadan today. And thank you all for coming again. Assalamu alaikum.
جل عن الولد. كلي غوثا من كل بلاء من كرب الحال وهول غدي. واصرف عني ما يفتنني ألهمني أسباب الرشد. يا الله 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 يا الله.
Vous suivez votre station préférée, celle qui vous guide par hasard dans la le paradis.